Going back to Dream Theater, I got to go bigger. Life is too short to not be with the people you love and play the music that is part of your life. I've probably dreamt about 100 times about what it would be like to be back in Dream Theater or to play that first show back. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
It's gonna be insane.
It's like riding a bicycle. It's in there for life.
I can't believe I get to say this, but to all of you out there watching, please welcome the legendary Mike Portnoy to Drumeo. Finally, we made it happen.
Oh man, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Mike has been here. You've been here for like 3 days now, and we're not going to give away everything we filmed, but we filmed some insane stuff in the last 3 days. You even paid me $1 to film, to make you film a video. So.
Yeah, but I want that back. After what you put me through yesterday, I want that $1 back.
It's not coming back.
With interest.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Mike needs no introduction, especially after the recent news. I think a lot of people think, or will think when this airs on YouTube, that we had this all pre-planned. You were going to join Dream Theater again, and then we would do this. But we actually had an entirely different trip planned. And I think a week or a week and a half before the news dropped, and we're like, we got to pivot and do some Dream Theater stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people don't think Drumeo's cashing in and they're bringing me in because I'm back in Dream Theater now. We've had this on the calendar for months, way before this was announced. And as Brandon said, originally my time here was going to be concentrating on mostly everything I've done over the last 13 years. But once the news dropped, you hit me up and it's like, we got to pivot.
With the meme and the email, it was great.
Yeah. So I'm glad the news came before my trip here because now it was definitely the right move to reshift the focus onto my returning home.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't think any of us, we'll talk about this, but I don't think anyone saw this happening as much as we could have hoped. But for any of you who aren't familiar with Mike, if there are any of you out there, you're a founding member of Dream Theater, Liquid Tension Experiment, the Winery Dogs, Sons of Apollo, Transatlantic, tons of bands. You've released 3 instructional DVDs. You've been inducted into the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame and won 30 or more Readers' Poll Awards.
31. I just said 31. I just tied Baskin Robbins.
Nice. That's wild. And you've also played with a bunch of other artists, Twisted Sister, Avenged Sevenfold, Joe Satriani, Neil Morris, OSI, Adrenaline Mob, Paul Gilbert, and the list goes on.
On and on.
Yeah, I'm sure that could be a
All right, we're done.
long list.
All right. Thanks for having me.
And we also have tons of stuff inside of Drumeo. There's a link below this video, drumeo.com/trial. We've got tons of drumless tracks and full transcriptions of the stuff Mike's played with Dream Theater, Winery Dogs, a bunch of other stuff. So go check that out. You can get a 7-day free trial. And we also are going to be doing some giveaways after this is posted. We've got some used broken sticks from your session. We've got a bunch of like CD inserts, images and words. Mike and Jordan signed Systematic Chaos, some Winery Dog stuff. And this is probably my favorite one. This is a 1995 Awake Tour booklet signed by Jordan and Mike. So there's going to be links down below, and we're going to be posting this stuff over the next few weeks and months. So make sure you're entered to win, and Drumeo members will have a special link posted in the Drumeo members area. So make sure you check all that stuff out.
Oot. Check it out.
Canadian accent.
Yeah. I've had a Canadian singer for 30-something years, so I'm used to it. Yeah, I know the ins and outs.
I guess we should just start with the breaking news. You're back in Dream Theater. So how did that all happen? What's the story? And I remember Jordan Rudess was out, I think about 2 weeks before the time of filming this, and he didn't say it outright, but we were just talking about some of the past few Dream Theater records, and like, I'm curious what the next era of Dream Theater is going to be like, because the last few albums were quite different.
Like exploding inside.
Exactly, and all he told me was, well, get ready for the next era. I'm like, what does he mean? And then here you are. So how did that all happen?
It's been 13 years, and I think time heals all wounds, as the expression goes. It's been many, many years now of kind of rekindling my relationships with the guys, starting with John Petrucci. I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago or so. We just reconnected. Our families, his wife and my wife were in a band together even before we knew our wives. Yeah. Our kids have grown up together. My daughter and John Petrucci's daughter shared an apartment together in New York for the last 5 years. Nice. So, the families were still close. So John and I inevitably reconnected and on a personal level. And I guess really it really started to gain some traction during COVID lockdown, because I couldn't tour and Dream Theater couldn't tour. So John decided he wanted to do a solo album, and he asked me to play on it. So that was the first step, I guess, in this direction. So I played on John's solo album, and then a few months later, we did an LTE album with John and Jordan. So that brought 3 of us back together. And then the following year, I ended up doing John's solo tour, and our wives' bands were opening for us. So we had the wives out with us. And so it just seemed like it was all starting to come together on a personal level, and then the musical level as well. And then I think the final piece was me reconnecting with James LaBrie, because James and I hadn't spoken for over a decade. And, I went to see Dream Theater play in New York, I guess around 2022. And that was my first time seeing James in over a decade. Wow. And literally, I'm not exaggerating, within 5 seconds of seeing each other, it was hugs, kisses, and it was like any of the drama and bullshit that happened during all of those years of the split, it just melted away immediately. And, with James and I buddying up again, it kind of just, it began to seem like an inevitability. It wasn't ever, I don't think, in either of our plans to eventually reunite. In fact, if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have put money on it. But, with the developments of everything I just laid out for you, then it started to really feel like, maybe this is inevitable. It just seems like we're in the right place and the right time at the stages of our lives. All those years of Dream Theater, we were in our 20s and 30s and 40s, and now here we are, most of us in our 50s and some of the members in their 60s, and it just seems like, life is too short to not be with the people you love and play the music that is part of your life and your heart and soul. So here we are.
Yeah, I think we'd all commend you, the band, Mike Mangini, just the way the whole band went about the news and the transition was just done with the highest amount of class. Because, how many examples are there of bands just blowing up and this member saying whatever, and Mike's statement, your statement, and the way it was all handled was just like top notch.
I agree.
So,
it was nice to see something like this happen with taking the high road and class and grace and dignity, and not, war of words and drama and BS. This was really handled so well, and I have to give Mike Mangini all the credit in the world for that, because it's not easy, being replaced. I can't imagine. So he handled it really well, and I guess, the things he said were so classy and so I was really glad to see how well he took it, and because I was a little, concerned about that, but it couldn't have come off any better.
Yeah, I think you and Mangini posted a photo at, I don't remember which show it was. I think it was a Dream Theater show, and I just remember seeing the comments being like, just everyone's so stoked that you guys got along, and it looked like you guys were both stoked for each other.
Well,
so
I was friends with him before he even knew any of the guys in Dream Theater. He and I were friends in the 90s when he was still playing in Extreme and stuff like that, and we would do clinics together and stuff. So he's he's an old friend, and I could never get mad at the guy for taking the gig. How could you not? It was a great opportunity and a great gig. So it was nice when all those resentments and all that stuff melted away, because it was a tough couple of years in the start of the split.
Yeah. You were talking earlier this week just about like your role in the band. Even years ago, you would make the set lists, you were doing merch, bunch of other stuff. Do you think that's going to be like a challenge coming back into that, where I'm sure like new ways of doing things have been, or duties have been reassigned to different people, and it's probably going to be a learning curve?
Absolutely. I think that was the one discussion that John Petrucci and I had. We still to this point even haven't talked about business or money or finances or any of that.
Yeah.
It was all about, okay, we know we love each other, we know we want to play together again, but what is the new dynamic going to be? Because for all those first 25 years, John and I produced the albums together. We kind of led the band together. I was handling the bulk of the responsibilities and decisions making and things like that. And so when I left the band, I was very much a control freak. And then now the last 13 years or so, obviously they've had to redesign their inner structure and how they function and how they work. I think John produces the albums himself now. So it remains to be seen how the new old Dream Theater will function. But I think we're all older and wiser. When I left the band 13 years ago, I was a control freak. Absolutely, I'll be the first to admit it. And I think as time has gone on, I've loosened up on all that. All the bands I've done over the last 13 years, I've had to learn how to compromise, how to collaborate, how to let go of things. I've even had these hired gun gigs with Twisted and Avenged where I just play drums.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to find our feet in the new dynamic. I think there will be many areas that I hope I could regain some control, like writing the set lists was always a big one for me.
Yeah.
But then there's other areas that I'm more than happy to step away and not even be involved with. I'd be happy to not write any lyrics again, which is what I used to always write a lot of lyrics back in the day, but I'd be fine with not doing that. It's a lot of things, designing the artwork or the merchandise. There's things that you got to pick your battles, and I guess we'll find our feet,
nice,
and see where everybody kind of fits into the structure of the new dynamic.
Yeah, and I guess before we do another track, I'm sure you only know so much, but is the plan to get in the studio and tour, or where are you guys at this point?
We're gonna start work on a new album right after the new year. Nice. I have some remaining commitments this year still on the calendar. I'm about to leave for Japan with the Winery Dogs, as you mentioned, and I have a gig with Metal Allegiance in January, and I have some gigs with Flying Colors in March. So these are things that have been on the calendar for a while. I have a gig with Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony, another gig with Humphreys McGee for New Year's Eve. So I'm going to finish out those commitments, but pretty much after the new year, the focus for me is going to be Dream Theater, and we're going to move into the studio and start work on a new album. And it remains to be seen where and when the first gig or gigs will be, but that's what I'm most excited for. I cannot wait to be on the stage again in front of the most devoted fan base in the world. I mean, the energy and the excitement at that first gig is, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
It's going to be insane.
I've dreamt about it. I'm telling you, the last 13 years or so, I can't tell you, I've probably dreamt about 100 times about what it would be like to be back in Dream Theater or to play that first show back. So it's going to be amazing to finally actually do it.
Love it, man. Well, let's jump into another track. We're going to go back to the second record, Under a Glass Moon from Images.
All right.
Let's do it.
I haven't played this in a long time. Or playing any of these songs, it's weird because I haven't played them in forever.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't listened to them in forever because for those 13 years, listening to Dream Theater was a little difficult for me, to be honest. It kind of broke my heart. So I haven't played or listened to these songs in forever. And now it's nice. I can actually listen to it again and enjoy it again. And the tracks I've been playing for you guys here at Drumeo, it's like riding a bicycle. It's like it's in there for life.
Well, I mean, even we were talking before you got here, because for all of you watching, we did some crazy Dream Theater stuff with you. And we're like, I wonder if he's been rehearsing like crazy at home, or if it's just going to come back, and it came back.
It just came back.
Pretty insane.
Yeah. I haven't now I'm gonna totally myself up now. But I haven't played this track, Under a Glass Moon, and last time I played it on stage with Dream Theater would be the last time I sat behind a kit and played it. So
let's see how it goes.
Let's see.
You still got it. It's still there.
It's like riding a bicycle. Like riding a unicycle.
Yeah, for the first time in 15 years or more.
Yeah, it really is. It really,
awesome.
it just doesn't go away. It's in me for life.
Yeah, so good.
Thank you.
Before we jump and talk about some of the stuff you were doing in the last 13 years, I think when people are first introduced to your playing, or when people think about your playing, probably one of the things that comes up the most is all your hand to foot, like quads or those types of ideas.
Yeah.
Who did that come from, or is that some idea that you just came up with at some point, or?
Well, I'm the one that's played it out for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say I probably got it from Terry Bozzio.
Okay.
I was a big fan of Terry, starting with his stuff with Zappa.
Yeah.
Which, really took me to another level of musical knowledge and appreciation. Zappa's diversity and the polyrhythms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I still loved everything Terry did beyond that. And like, for instance, the UK album Danger Money was a huge influence for me. And I think there's a bunch of like those, also Missing Persons, the first Missing Persons album, Spring Session M.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. That right there is almost the beginning of Paradigm Shift.
Yeah.
And, that's become kind of the Mike Portnoy cliche at this point. But I think I copped it from Terry first.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. You can't get away from it at this point.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what makes a signature. If you do something,
Exactly.
Enough, it becomes your thing. So that's definitely one of my things.
Yeah, for sure. So 13 years, I don't think we could even list all the projects you've been in and the albums you've done and the tours you've done and stuff. But why don't you talk a little bit about what you've been up to, which bands you've been working with? Yeah.
Before coming back to Dream Theater, I think the list of bands that I was currently in as of a few months ago was around 6 or 7. The busiest, I should say, would have been the Winery Dogs.
Yeah.
That really consumed pretty much all of my 2023, and I'm still wrapping up the cycle with them right now. So the Winery Dogs was a big one for the last couple of years. Neil Morse Band. I have 3 different bands with Neil. We started Transatlantic back in '99.
Yeah.
And then we started Flying Colors in around 2011. So we have those 2 bands. But I had been working with Neil as a solo artist since back when I was still in Dream Theater the first time around.
Yeah.
And Neil and I have made, I think it's literally 50 albums together. Between his solo albums, Flying Colors, Transatlantic, the Neil Morse Band, which is, his solo albums kind of morphed into becoming a band with Randy George, Bill Hubauer, and Eric Gillette. And the 5 of us ended up making some really special albums. I mean, the albums I made with the Neil Morse Band, I think, are some of the best things I have done over the last 13 years. So there's all the, those bands with Neil, and then there's Sons of Apollo, which we did 2 albums. Myself, Billy Sheehan, Derek Sherinian, Bumblefoot, and Jeff Scott Soto. So we did 2 albums with that band. I played with Twisted Sister for their last 2 years of touring before they retired, which was a lot of fun. There's a picture in my high school yearbook of me wearing a Twisted Sister shirt in my high school yearbook. And to be playing drums with them for their farewell tour for their last 2 years was an amazing experience. What else? I mean, that's the bulk of it. Metal Allegiance is something that I've been doing. That's more of a part-time thing because it's made up of all the guys from other bands, all the thrash. That's kind of my thrash metal outlet. So it's with David Ellison and Alex Skolnick and Mark Mengi. The 4 of us are the kind of the core writers, but. Through the years and the shows and the albums, we've had everybody from Anthrax to Pantera to Testament to Megadeth to Exodus, Overkill, Sepultura. It's like a who's who, of the thrash metal world. So for me, that's always been a fun thing and a great outlet for my metal side.
For sure, yeah.
And what else? I'm probably missing a few. I'm on the spot here, but I think that's the bulk of the work I've been doing.
Yeah, I think we talked about it this week while you were here, but I think the first project outside of Dream Theater I heard with you was the Nightmare record with Avenged. And I think that's a pretty cool experience coming into the band at that point in time?
The Rev passed, I think, in December of 2009, and they met with me. It was only a few weeks after the funeral that they secretly met with me and asked me to do the album. And then it was only a few weeks after that we actually started work on it. So yeah, it was very, very, the wounds were very fresh at that point. So it was a very emotional record to make. You know, those guys were still very, very much in mourning still. But they wanted to make this record because the Rev had written the whole thing with them and demoed the whole thing with them. So, you know, it was unfinished business and they really wanted to do it for him to finish up, you know, his vision. And my job was to come in there and bring his vision to life. And you know, I had all of the demos for all of those songs with the Rev playing on an electronic kit, and in some cases even singing some of the melodies and things like that. But my job for that album was to be as faithful as possible to Rev's drum parts on the demos, which were pretty, I don't want to say primitive, they were just kind of undeveloped because I think he obviously planned on really developing the parts in the studio.
Yeah, of course.
So it was more of just a blueprint. So I had to follow that blueprint as closely and as you know, as closely as possible. But then they gave me some free rein to sprinkle my own personality on top as well. But anyway, great experience doing that album with those guys. Nice. It was an honor.
Let's do a Winery Dogs track.
Okay.
Oblivion.
Okay. This one is a little more recent to me. I just played it on stage, I think, last week.
Nice.
And I'll be playing it on stage in Tokyo a couple days from now. So hopefully I'll know this one.
One of the fresher ones.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so used to, obviously, being the drummer, I'm used to everybody following me.
Yeah.
So it's always weird when you're playing along with a track without the drums.
Yeah.
And you have to follow them following you without you being there.
Yeah, when's the bass going to end?
Well, that's always the biggest question at a Winery Dogs concert. Oh, I love you,
Nice.
Billy. Just kidding.
That's great. I think one thing we haven't talked about yet is just your kit in general. You've played some of the craziest drum kits out there, the Siamese Monsters. You were talking about the Purple Monster earlier. Is this the setup you think you're going to go into the next era of Dream Theater with? This kind of version, or
Hell
are you gonna, what's the idea?
Come on, you know, with Dream Theater, more is more.
That's right.
Unless you're Kevin, and then it's Kevin no more.
Ruthless.
But no, I mean, I obviously famously had those giant monster drum kits with Dream Theater, so there's no way I'm not going to have that.
Of course.
I mean, after all those years of the massive Siamese Monster and Albino Monster and the Purple Monster, blah, 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 it was refreshing to go to like the Winery Dogs and play just like a Bonham setup.
Totally, yeah.
So with the Winery Dogs, I had a very scaled down kind of Bonham kit. With all the stuff I do with Neil Morse, like I mentioned earlier, that's more of a, traditional maybe 8-piece kit, 1 kick, 3 racks, 2 floors, a little more traditional. One of the fun things playing in all these bands over the last 13 years is every one of them had different setups and different kits. So it kept me on my toes, kept it refreshing and inspiring to be surrounded by different kits for each different band. But yeah, going back to Dream Theater, I gotta go bigger.
Can't wait to see it. Whatever it ends up being.
Tama is shaking in their boots right now.
Like, what is he going to do?
We're going to have to hire more people to build more drums.
And poor Jose who has to build it.
Yeah, exactly.
The next track, we're going to go back to Dream Theater. Tell us about Panic Attack. When's the last time you would have played this?
Last time I would have played this would have been, well, obviously, whenever Dream Theater played it last, back in my days, in the first go-round, I would write a different set list for like every show. So,
yeah.
Although actually, now that I think about it, the last tour I did with Dream Theater was with Iron Maiden, supporting Iron Maiden in summer of 2010, and we had a static set list for that tour because it was a support slot, and Panic Attack was in that set. So I know the answer to your question. The last time I would have played this would have been 2010, summer of 2010.
Okay.
So over 13 years ago.
Nice. And I guess this is the first time you've played it since.
Yeah.
Right.
This will be my first time playing it without singing, because I sing on this entire song. Most of those Dream Theater songs I'm singing, but Panic Attack, I'm doubling all the verses throughout the entire song, harmonizing on all the verses. So maybe, I guess might be slightly easier for me to be playing it for the first time in 13 years, not having to sing it as well, or not singing it may throw me off. I don't know. We shall soon find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
What a beast of a song.
Oh, you're telling me. Oh, Madonna mia. I got to spray off after that one. Oh, wow.
I'm sure Ross is getting a great shot of that right there.
Oh, yeah, I'm probably ruining your cameras. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. You do you.
Oh. Yeah,
I think that's got to be, that drum intro has got to be like one of the most iconic drum intros out there, and we were talking about this week too. There's a bunch of your songs that have just those short but like super memorable drum entrances and drum intros. Lots of different records. That's definitely one of them.
I used to do a thing at my drum clinics years ago when I used to do them, where I would do a medley of all the famous drum intros.
Oh, nice.
You know, everything from, the Rover and rock and roll. You know, John Bonham had a whole list within himself. Yeah. Everything to that, or, Take the Money and Run, or We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister. So
yeah.
I had a medley of like 100 of them. But it's nice to have a couple of your own as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Before, we're almost at the end of the lesson, but before we wrap up, there's two I have to ask you about, because the internet will kill me if I don't ask.
Oh, let me tell you something. The internet's going to kill you no matter what. You got to just get used to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's no escaping that, no matter what you do.
As it happens.
Exactly.
Honor Thy Father.
Yeah.
What's even just a demo of that? I'm sure everyone would love to see that.
Well, I'll have to do it off the top of my head. So sure enough, I'm sure the internet will kill me if I get it wrong, and I very well might. To the best of my memory, I think it's this.
So just go out there and do that.
I may have gotten the top wrong. I think I did 6 rounds. So I think I did 6. It may have been 5, but
something like that.
I'll play it slow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your typical Mike Portnoy.
6. Yeah.
I think.
And the other one is Welcome to the Family.
Oh, God. It's similar. It's very similar. I played you the original Avenged demo of that song, and with all due respect to the Rev, I'm sure he would have come up with a killer drum intro.
Yeah.
But the demo just starts like this. Just the downbeat.
It's crazy.
So they gave me free rein to come up with my own thing. I'm definitely going to get this wrong. I haven't listened to this song in forever, but
putting Mike on the spot.
It's similar. It's very, very similar. I think it's like, it's similar to Honor Thy Father. Very, very similar.
Love it. All right, man. We are almost at the end. For everyone watching, once again, you can be entered to win. We got signed tour books from Jordan and Mike.
The irony of Jordan signing that particular tour book is funny.
Was he even on this tour?
No. If you open up to the centerfold, we actually did this tour with no actual keyboard player in the band. Derek Sherinian.
Derek.
Well, he was the guest. He was like just the hired gun for that. But if you look at that.
Oh, there we go.
The band photos at the start of the Awake cycle were just 4 of us, no keyboard player in the band. And if you see the video for the song Lie, which I think that was the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 4 of us. So
how old are you in this picture?
That picture's from the live video shoot, which was 1 week after my wedding. That's why I have braids in my hair. I just come back from the Caribbean on my honeymoon. But This was 94, so I would have been, I guess, 27, I think.
On the Mapex skit, too.
30 years ago. Yeah, that's one of the very, very few times in my entire career I wasn't playing Tama. The Awake album and tour and A Change of Seasons are the only albums in my entire 100 album discography or whatever that aren't Tama.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a rarity.
Crazy. So we got this, we got a bunch of CD inserts and Winery Dog stuff. So all the links are down below. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're in the members area, there'll be a separate link for you inside the Drumeo members area. Mike, Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your stories and your wisdom with all of us, and a huge congrats for
thank you.
rejoining Dream Theater. I never thought I'd see the day, and
It's crazy. It's still crazy to even hear that. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me. I mean, being here has been a total blast, and we filmed some incredible content that
I think the craziest.
I can't wait for people to see this.
The craziest video we've ever filmed at Drumeo.
Yo,
So,
thanks. Thanks for giving it to me.
And this guy did it. So stay tuned for that. Mike, any final words before we close out with the outro of Finally Free from Metropolis?
No final words. Just thank you. Thank you for having me. I really had a great time. I love the channel. The content you guys do is just so informative, inspirational, educational. I love it. So I'm honored to be here, and thanks for having me.
And we'll have to do something once the new record is out and do some new music.
Yeah. Whatever it may be.
Whenever it is.
Hasn't been written yet, but yeah, I'm as curious as anybody to get that going.
Love it. This is the outro from Finally Free.
Yeah, I mean, this is the end of the Scenes from a Memory album, and the idea was to just have this ostinato pattern that the guys are playing, and then I'm just going nuts within it. None of this on the album was written.
Yeah.
Every night live, completely 100% different from night to night. It was always just flying on the seat of your pants.
See what happens.
In the moment. That's just the kind of drummer I am. I mean, I love and respect people like Neil Peart that can construct a part and stick to it and execute it perfectly in the same way every single night. But that's just not my style. I'm always about jamming and improvising and just, every time I record an album, I'm just improvising the fills in and out, and whatever you're hearing on the album is whatever I played that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Same when you come see a concert. So I have no idea what's going to happen here. Hopefully it won't suck too bad.
Let's do it.
All right.